Hello Eastern, and welcome to the November 1st edition of ETV News. I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Alexia Muniz. Thank you so much for joining us.
We begin tonight with our top story. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Ned Lamont was at Eastern earlier this week. ETV News reporter Tyler Madden was in the Student Center to see what he had to say only a few days before the election.
Further ado, here he is.
On Tuesday, October 30th, students were invited to the Student Center Cafe to meet one of the three candidates running for governor, Ned Lamont.
It makes a difference, right? We found out 2 years ago, elections make a difference.
This year, Lamont is running against Republican candidate Bob Stefanowski and independent Oz Griebel, but took the time to come to Eastern Connecticut State University because he wants
every student here at Eastern to know how much is at stake. I told them if the Republicans end up decimating over half of our budget, they're going to pay for it in terms of higher tuition.
Lamont started the meeting.
And I want you to be able to think. I want you to be able to continually learn and change and think one step ahead.
But soon opened the floor to the public for questions.
Is there a way that you plan on promoting, like, STEM?
This is regarding the opioid epidemic that's going on.
And it's not just about detox, but it's also about recovery.
According to the most recent Quinnipiac poll, the race is too close to call. But Lamont plans to focus on issues such as
the gun control laws, women's right to choose would be at risk. The environment is not on his radar screen.
Also in attendance was State Representative for the 49th District, Susan Johnson, who thinks that it was great for Lamont to come to Eastern.
Kinds of things, those messages that he has, they're the right message. They're actually what I've been experiencing at the Capitol.
One of the coordinators of this meet and greet, Jackson Delaney, believes it was great to have Lamont on campus because
it's such an important thing to us to try to get Ned to come here because the election's in less than a week. So it was really amazing to be able to pull it off and get such a good turnout.
With under a week to go before the election, the candidates are pulling out all the stops. Make sure you get out and vote on Tuesday. For ETV News, this has been Tyler Mann reporting.
Thanks, Tyler. This election is one of the most important of our lifetimes. Everyone make sure you get out to vote. In other news, on Saturday, November 3rd at 7:30 p.m., Eastern's Woodwind facility will present a combined recital as part of the music program's Facility Recital Series. This event, taking place in the Fine Arts Instructional Center, is free and open to the public.
On November 7th at 3 p.m. in the Student Center Theater, Chief Marilyn Malerba of the Mohegan Tribe will present a talk with the First Nation, first modern female chief. Appointed in 2010, Malerba is the 18th chief of the Mohegan Tribe and is the first female chief in the tribe's modern history. This event takes place in the Student Center Theater and is free and open to the public.
The 19th Annual Animation Show of Shows will show at Eastern Connecticut State University on Wednesday, November 7th at 7 p.m. in the Student Center Theater. The Animation Show of Shows is a traveling selection of year's best animated short films. It is a 93-minute selection consisting of 16 internationally acclaimed animated shorts presented by Akeem Filmworks. This event is free and open to the public.
Eastern Connecticut State University will be hosting a Veterans Day ceremony on Friday, November 9th at 9 a.m. in the Student Center Theater. Refreshments will be served. This event is open to the public and is free for all those who attend.
3 executives from the A&E Network will visit Eastern on November 7th to discuss the criminal world as portrayed on television. The event will take place from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Johnston Room of the library. The panel will feature an executive producer of Live PD and producers from series such as The First 48 and The Secret Tapes of the O.J. Case. This event is free and the public is encouraged to attend.
3 distinguished alumni from Eastern Connecticut State University were inducted into the Eastern Fellows Program on October 19th. In addition to joining the ranks of the university's most successful alumni, Charlotte Brazil, class of 1980, Raymond Hill Jr., class of 83, and Sean Miek, class of 95, returned to campus to meet with students and share an advice panel. Brazil is a retired FBI agent who now leads an investigative consulting firm. Hill is a professor at the Air Force Institute of Technology with an extensive military background, and Miek is a former social worker turned entrepreneur who leads the multi-million-dollar organization Family First Life. The Eastern Fellows Program was established in the 2008 to 2009 academic year to recognize and engage distinguished alumni in the life of the campus community. Including these 3 newest inductees, 32 Eastern alumni are in the program.
For the past couple of months, students have been involved in intramurals here at Eastern. ETV News reporter Sammy Honeywell volleyed herself over to the courts. Let's take a look.
Whether you're a competitive athlete or just looking to have some fun, Eastern Connecticut State University offers intramural sports for students. Here at Geisler Gymnasium, students have signed up for intramural volleyball and are working hard to win the championships. Starting October 18th, intramural volleyball brought students together who all have similar interests.
I decided to do intramural volleyball because I've been involved in sports my whole life and I've never tried volleyball before, so I thought it would be the best time to try a new sport.
Intramurals are very popular at Eastern. Groups are a minimum of 6 players and a maximum of 12 that can be random or made on their own. For example, Eastern's softball team has made their own group to have some fun and bond during their off-season. Regardless, intramurals get students involved, and Savannah Carrillo is a referee for the program.
I've made so many friends just from other teams who play, and I take their IDs and I check them in, and I get to know them through the sport.
The school offers different sports for each season. In the fall, soccer, flag football, volleyball, dodgeball, softball, and tennis are offered, while in the spring, basketball, volleyball, soccer, floor hockey, and softball are an option. After playing in high school, Karina Torres joined intramurals at Eastern right away.
Well, regardless of like skill set or like how well you've played or how much of the knowledge of the game, we still take you in and they'll still let you play, and it's a really great way to like get involved with the school.
Unfortunately, the registration has ended for all of the intramurals for the fall season, except for co-ed dodgeball, which begins its season on November 14th. For ETV News, I'm Sammy Honeywell, setting it back to the studio.
Thanks, Sammy. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Megan Brooks will be here with this week's editorial. Stay with us.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hello, Eastern. I'm Megan Brooks with this week's editorial. Dining halls, no matter where you go, can be a drag. It's packed, it's loud, it's crazy, full of lines just to get to food that isn't even that great. But here at Eastern, I have found that even though it's loud and packed, it's a positive environment. You walk in to get your card swiped and the person greeting you says, "Thank you for coming, it's good to see you," or even just "Thank you and have a nice day." Here at Eastern, there is only one dining hall, which means there aren't as many options for food, but the staff are always kind. The dining hall is one of the many things I appreciate here at Eastern. I appreciate the staff and their patience with the students. When I walk into the dining hall to get some food, sometimes as grumpy as I can be, the staff are always patient. the card swiper's smile can make a day better. I think some students forget and take for granted the kindness of the staff at the dining hall here at Eastern. Yes, they are doing their job, but in many ways, they are going out of their way to make your experience better, wiping up a table just before you sit and saying, "Have a good day," or saying, "See you later," as you leave. So next time you go to get a meal at the dining hall, stop for a moment and thank the people refilling the food and the ones making your experience better. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Megan Brooks. Let's send it back to Alexia and Connor.
Thanks, Megan. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
"11 people were killed and 6 more were injured on Saturday in a shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh. 46-year-old Robert Bowers was arrested and indicted on 44 federal charges and 10 other charges punishable by the death penalty. The most recent shooting garnered a strong response from the White House from Vice President Mike Pence.
In the days ahead, I promise you, the President and I and our entire administration will do everything in our power to bring these senseless acts of violence to an end. But for now, we urge every American, pray for the victims and their families and the entire Jewish community all across Pittsburgh, that they would know that we are with them. And also pray, as the President said this Saturday, that our nation would, in his words, rise above the hate, move past the division, and embrace our common destiny as Americans.
On Tuesday, President Trump, along with First Lady Melania Trump, traveled to the Steel City to pay their respects. Trump did not speak publicly during his brief trip, instead quietly paying tribute at the Tree of Life Synagogue by laying flowers for the victims and visiting a hospital to see officers who were wounded.
With under a week to go before the midterm election, President Trump is planning on making many stops, including campaigning in Fort Myers, Florida, for Republican gubernatorial candidate Ron DeSantis and Senate candidate Rick Scott. Trump talked a lot about a whole host of issues during Wednesday's rally, including the cleanup efforts from Hurricane Michael that hit parts of Florida a month ago.
We send our prayers to the Florida Panhandle, people we love, and everyone in that storm's path. That was a tornado that was 50 times wider. That was brutal. We went there, we visited, we had houses ripped off their foundations, and even the foundations were gone. Nobody's seen anything like it. Together, we will ensure that Florida comes back stronger than ever, already happening, And you remember our hurricane last year, the response that we gave was A+. And Rick and everybody in Florida did a phenomenal job.
President Trump will be making stops in states including Indiana, Ohio, and Tennessee over the next few days.
President Trump earlier this week announced his intentions to end the birthright citizenship, a policy that guarantees any child born on U.S. soil has a right to citizenship regardless of whether their parents are citizens. Trump argues that it's unconstitutional.
Congress has never passed a law requiring birthright citizenship for illegal aliens, and the Constitution does not, I say that to the media, does not require it. Read it. Because illegal aliens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
But others argue that President doesn't have the power to change this policy, including Speaker of the House Paul Ryan.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order. We didn't like it when Obama tried changing immigration laws via executive action, and obviously as conservatives, we believe in the Constitution. As a conservative, I'm a believer in following the plain text of the Constitution, and I think in this case the 14th Amendment's pretty clear. And that would involve a very, very lengthy constitutional process. But where we obviously totally agree with the president is getting at the root issue here, which is unchecked illegal immigration.
This will continue to be a hot-button issue, especially with the midterm elections coming up.
Well, the Red Sox did it again.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018. His efforts in 2018, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. When a team leaves spring training.
Congratulations, this is the greatest Red Sox team in history. Congratulations, Red Sox Nation.
And on Wednesday, thousands, including myself, gathered in the streets of Boston for the championship parade. But there might not have been a parade without the efforts of World Series MVP Steve Pearce. Overall, the first baseman went 4 for 12 and drove in 8 runs during the 5-game series. This Boston team will go down as one of the best ever. They posted over 100 wins during the regular season. This is the Red Sox 4th championship in 15 years.
We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be right back with Dom Conti and his sports update.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
as a sea race. Love is love.
Hello, Eastern. I'm Dom Conti with this week's Sports Update. The women's field hockey team clinched a playoff berth for the 5th straight season when they secured the 8th seed after beating Framingham State in their final game of the season. They hit the road to take on number 1 seeded Castleton University on Tuesday, but unfortunately fell short in a 7-0 loss. This marks the 3rd straight season that the Warriors made the playoffs and lost in the quarterfinals. The women's volleyball team hosted their final tri-tournament of the season on Saturday, when they hosted the College of Mount St. Vincent and conference rival University of Southern Maine. Let's take a look at the highlights from that game against the Huskies. Topped the Little East Conference and controlled their own destiny going into this game. A win would mean the first LEC regular season title since way back in 2006, while Southern Maine was on the bubble, needing a win and a Plymouth State loss to advance to the tournament. And you see how close the first set was, the Huskies tying it up at 6 with that point right there. And still in the first set this time, it's Casey Forrester for Southern Maine, sneaking it past the defense, extending the lead to 3. Huskies came out of the gates with a lot of fire, and Coach Silver Drosch was not happy at the Warriors. You see here she calls a timeout, and it seemed to have done the trick, because with the score 24-20, the Huskies attack sails just out of bounds right there, and that was the final point of the set. Moving on to the second one now, still a close one. Jenna Graves lines up her serve for the Huskies. And this time, after that pass right there, Leah Sopneski with the pass for Carly Balskis, who gets the kill. Those two would have quite a second set. This time, Leah Sopneski once again. And there's Carly Balskis once again. Another kill. And some more deja vu. Here we go for a third time. Carly Balskis. The two seniors having some fun right there. And so was the bench. Look at them there. They're loving it. Now on to the third set. Mackenzie Managia sets it to Anna Berry, whose attack is dug up, and it goes right back to her for the kill. Let's take another look at that one, as that sail right back to her in the perfect spot, and she's not going to miss it. Now let's send it to Jessie Barco for the call at the last point.
Jack, it would take something special for Southern Maine, have to be flawless. Long, Managia, Stern, hard swing there, and there it is. Your 2018 Little East Conference regular season champions belongs here in Romantic.
There's the bench's reaction one more time. The Warriors are the 2018 Little East Conference regular season champs for the first time since 2006. They will be hosting the semifinals this Friday, with the first game set to start at 5:30. Another team was in action over the weekend trying to secure a spot at the top of their standings. This time it was men's soccer, as their team was under the lights at the turf, hosting Rhode Island College. They would clinch the number 1 seed in the conference with a win and some help from UMass Boston, who was facing Keene State that very same night. A tie or a win by Boston would secure a first-round bye for the Warriors. Early on in the 8th minute, Justin Jensen sends a corner, and Nick Starkowski with the header comes flying in out of nowhere, puts the Warriors on the board early. Let's have another look. Jensen with the boot from the corner, and watch how high he gets with that header, showing the world that defenders, they could score too. Warriors with an early 1-0 lead. 7 minutes later, it's Griffin Luzek on the far side. He crosses it to the middle, and Patrick Ageman finishing the job. One more look will slow it down for you as this pass sneaks by 2 defenders, and Ageman's going to do the rest as the Warriors took control of this one early, and they did not let it get away. Their defense did the rest, and the final score of the match was 2-0. All they needed now was some help from the Beacons. And they got it. An overtime victory for UMass Boston over Keene. And I guess you could say the Warriors were pretty excited. Check out this video from the locker room. Once again, 2-0, Eastern defeats Rhode Island College, securing the first round bye. They will also host the Little East semifinals, with games on Saturday starting at 11 o'clock a.m. The women's soccer team also closed out their season on a high note, as they secured a share of the Little East Conference regular season championship with Western Connecticut State. The Warriors will have a first round bye, but the Colonials will be hosting the women's soccer tournament due to a tiebreaker. Their semifinals will kick off on Friday at noon. And that's going to do it for this week's Sports Update. Once again, we have a busy schedule on our hands as we're hosting not one, but 2 Little East Conference tournaments right here on campus. The volleyball games will be on Friday starting at 5:30, with the championship on Saturday at 5 o'clock. And the men's soccer games will be on Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. and 1:30 p.m., with their championship game on Sunday at noon. So with the games going on literally all weekend, there's really no excuse for you not to show up and cheer on your Warriors. Once again, I'm Dom Conti for this week's Sports Update. Time to send it back to Connor and Alexia.
Thanks, Dom. That's it for this week's show.
Thank you so much for joining us.
To keep up to date with all things ETV News, be sure to follow us on Instagram at ETVNews_ and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And if you have any ideas for things that you'd like to see on the show, email us at etv@my.easternct.edu. I'm Alexia Muniz.
And I'm Connor O'Malley. We'll see you next week, Eastern.